Welcome to the Varside Spurs podcast, coming to you all the way from the Varside Arms tonight. I am joined by Andy. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, thank you, Steve. Yes, I'm okay. You know, new year ahead. It's gonna be good, isn't it?
I'll give you an extra sentence because you started off being very well. Then a sentence later, you were only okay, and
Yeah.
I think if I gave you one more sentence, you might have been depressed.
Well, you know what I'm
So
like. I'm very fickle. I can change within a sentence.
that is so true. Within the space of three sentences, you could have been really
Yeah.
depressed. Like,
Yeah, you don't
oh
let me talk too much.
well, we're in trouble tonight then, because it's just me and you. And I'm
Yeah,
hoping you're
I
going to be a
know.
bit sorted.
I know.
Otherwise, it's going to be a very short pod. Otherwise,
And it's been a bit of a roller coaster over the last week. So, yeah,
Mm,
I've
yes, it
struggled
has.
with all the Spurs emotions.
Yes, indeed. So, I mean,
Yeah.
well, let's crack on. Let's crack on with that. So, uh, I haven't written it down, but we'll go through it anyway. There was two Spurs women's games. Um,
Yeah.
both of them actually seemed to coincide with the men's game days and times. No, that's not right about the time. I think for the Man United game on the Sunday was earlier, but on the
Yeah,
Wednesday in
it
the
was.
Conti Cup, we played Liverpool, beat Liverpool 1-0. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
great.
not seen the any of the highlights. Unfortunately, I haven't really had
No,
time
I haven't.
to go back and check. But a 1-0 result, and kind of symptomatic of what I've said about the women is that we only score a goal and we need to maybe um, you know be a little bit more clinical, ruthless, whatever you want to say, and try and make the most of possession or whatever.
Yeah.
So one is maybe not enough. Well, wasn't in that case, but I think we need to be a bit more ruthless and start putting teams away. So
Yeah.
through to the semi-final of the Continental Cup, which is all good. And then on Sunday they played Man United at uh, Village Sports or wherever it's called, where they play up in Manchester, and
Yeah.
lost
3-0.
comprehensively,
Yeah,
3-0. Yeah.
I know.
Um, I didn't really see Rhiannon Skinner's interview, but she basically, I think the headline was that we made a couple of mistakes,
Yeah.
which contributed to the performance and the results. So, but overall, it's all good. I mean, they're
Yeah.
significantly improved from last season so far. So long may that continue. Hopefully, we're building and continue to build.
Yeah, I find it amazing that we're keeping above Man City. I know Man City are probably not, playing to their potential at the moment, but it's great to see us up there. And, you know, it'd be fantastic to get Champions League, wouldn't it? Because the top three, I think, get Champions League. So,
Yeah, I'm wondering. So I want to sort of reference it back, and I guess I mean you follow Lewis, so we'll look at it from a Lewis perspective, and we'll look at it from a Luton perspective. Obviously,
yeah.
Luton being my local team, and if I speak to any Luton Town fans, I don't speak to many, but if I speak to some of them, I'm pretty sure they'd be happy consolidating in the Championship for another season rather
Mm.
than potentially going up and getting absolutely mullered in the Premier League and coming back down. So I don't know what the situation is with Lewis, but you know, I think in terms of timing, I think the timing needs to be right.
Yeah, it does. I think there's two things really going on with Lewis. You've got I know this is Spurs pod, but um, with Lewis, you've got the men's team, you've got the women's team, and because of the equality thing, they try and treat them with the same level of interest, and of course the women are in a higher comparative
Yeah,
league to the men, and to get out of the championship into the WSL would be great, and that's what they want to do. They want to head that way. Um, Whether that's a wise decision is another matter. Now, for the men, I think that even becomes slightly harder as well because they're trying to get promotion out of the Isthmian Premier, which
hmm
would take them into the National League South, I think. So both teams would like to achieve promotion. Whether they do
But
isn't going to matter.
for the men, I think for both teams, I think that, I don't want to dwell on this too long, because it just
No.
really leads back into my point about Spurs and the Champions League. But for both teams, I'm assuming that the men's and the women's side, there would be investment required to meet the standards of the the promotion into the
grounds
higher.
and exactly.
Changing room sizes, I think, for
salaries go
for
up.
the men.
That's another thing. And at Lewis, the men and the women get paid exactly the same. So
So my point basically was that I'm not sure, as good as promising as it is, I'm not sure that we're really ready. Spurs women are really ready for Champions League yet. Although it may be one of those things where we may not get the opportunity again, so take the opportunity while you can. But I would rather that we kind of build organically and continue to consistently achieve that level for qualification. Although who's to say that having qualified once, we wouldn't consistently do that going forward anyway. So it might be the right time. Who knows?
Yeah, I was so impressed with Rhiannon Skinner. I think she's doing an amazing job. She just seems to be a top coach, and the coach at Chelsea, her name Emma Hayes.
Emma Hayes,
who's like the super coach at the moment
in
women's football. Rhiannon Skinner is obviously not achieving as much as her. Maybe she doesn't have the budget of what Emma Hayes has, but I think she's a brilliant coach. She is the Graham Potter of of women's football. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I think we're going to come and discuss that a little bit. But again, since in the time that she's come in till now, there's been a whole load of players that she's brought in, a significant number.
Oh yeah, it's really changed, hasn't it?
And for example, in terms of one of the issues that Spurs women had, I'd say potentially, was with the goalkeeper, and the existing goalkeeper, I think, was away for some tournament or something recently, and therefore they had to revert back to the previous goalkeeper and got beat. So, they didn't get beat. They ended up drawing, as the West Ham game that I watched, and they ended up drawing at the last minute. And and the header was a looping header, which potentially the other keeper may have got to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? So she's managed. Again, this is all around investment and getting in the players that you want. The women's thing is, I don't know if they have. Not sure if they have fixed transfer windows, but I know we're certainly talking about we've brought in a couple of players recently, and also the contracts are a shorter term as well. They're like 1 2 year, 1 or 2 year deals. So it's easier and quicker to kind of change the structure of the squad. And she's done that significantly in the short period of time that she's been there. I think she's a great coach, but she's also managing to make the changes that she wants easier and quicker than, for example, in the men's side. And I'm sure we'll come on to talk about that in more detail.
No, exactly. I think she's doing a grand job, and I'm glad that we've got her on board. Yeah, brilliant.
Indeed. Okay, good stuff. So let's crack on then. So we've got Spurs Leicester to talk about.
Yes.
So I think trying to go back now and think about the key parts of the game. I mean, the only thing that I have really is just euphoria at the end. But obviously at the beginning, it looked like we went with the 3-5-2. Same defensive trio that we'd had to play in the previous fixtures against Chelsea, and Royale on one side, and was it Reggie on the other side?
Yeah, Reggie
Um,
started. Yeah.
yeah, and then we had like Interestingly, we had a midfield three, I think, of the creative trio, if I remember rightly. So Højbjerg, Skippy, and Winks, and you know, at the beginning, you think about, you'd look at that and you'd say, well, not a creative bone amongst them. Like, where the hell are we going to get the goals from? So, but I mean, Winks has come up with another assist, and it was a lovely ball, a lovely through ball for Kane. So, is he just, well, we know he gets a lot of shit, but
him and Højbjerg both get stick, don't they? Yeah.
They do, and I mean, we'll come and talk about Højbjerg's contribution in a little while, but I mean, me personally, as it happened, when when the changes were being made, I did initially think, well, how has Højbjerg escaped the cut? Why is he he's still on the fucking pitch? How's that work? But we'll come on to talk about his contribution in a little while. So, and then we had Kane. Was it Kane? Who was up top with Kane?
Mora.
Kane and Mora. So, in terms of that game, I thought given the lack of creativity that we had within the team and everything, we dominated the game. We dominated possession, and Leicester went ahead against the run of play, and they consider themselves lucky to have been to have gone ahead.
I think so. Yeah, I think that. I mean, by the time they'd scored, we probably could have scored 3 if we'd got our act together. And it was interesting, actually, because what he was doing was playing Winks in the deep lying role, and then he had Højbjerg and Skip doing the more kind of box-to-box play.
Yeah.
And that seemed to work really well, actually. When Højbjerg's on the move a bit more, he seems to add a little bit more to his game rather than when he's just shielding the back four. And Winks, although he isn't the best defensive midfielder, he can play that kind of Jorginho role where he can just keep the ball ticking over. He's got, everything seems to pivot around him, like he's in the centre of a wheel in the midfield, and he can spread things around. And I thought he had a really good game. Really good game.
He did. And if we kind of quickly jump to the Chelsea game, I think if you look at how, I mean, I didn't get to watch it yesterday, unfortunately, because I was out, but I watched the game today, and he actually, in possession, he still looked fairly decent, and he's looking to play balls forward. Yeah. He's looking to drive into spaces. He's got a shot away. So he's, having that trust and that belief from a manager is seeing him re-establish himself as someone that has a little bit of self-confidence, and having a bit of self-confidence shows a different side to him. I'm not necessarily saying that he is someone that Man City would want, or Liverpool or Chelsea would want potentially, but certainly showing to be a better player than a lot of the fans would have you believe or have given him credit for.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also his set piece delivery, especially at corners, is superb.
Yeah, it's been very good.
We've missed out on that for the last few years. And I don't know why we don't actually give him free kicks outside the area, because he's got to be better than Harry. I mean, Christ.
Well, anyone's got to be better than Harry, really.
Yeah,
I think this. When I think, I don't know if it was a Leicester game, because I do try and avoid the WhatsApp when I'm watching a game, because it just goes off, like it goes a bit crazy. And I think Sarah had gone, "Oh, fucking hell, Harry fucking on free kicks," or something like that. Yeah. And I just thought, and one of the frustrating things was because my feed was behind on, so you lot were messaging and updating on the group before something had actually happened. So I hadn't actually seen the free kick. And then